Great awareness by the rookie at the 2-yard line.
But when Rindo came in and was just sensational.
Chevrolet postgame coming up. Melissa will interview the star.
Welcome to the inaugural episode of I.G.S, NATOR'S Identical Game Score, Edition 1. We got one right, y'all, finally. It was Sunday Night Football. Cowboys over the Niners over the Cowboys, 30-24. Let's look into it right away, as this is the first game we got the score right. So initially going into Week 8, I predicted that the Cowboys had a chance to win this game. If they could stop the run, they might be in decent position. If the Niners had questions surrounding George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, if they were going to play. They played during the game and they were listed as questionable, and they still had their other the aforementioned players like Talon Hufanga and Christian McCaffrey were out, and Brandon Ayuk. These two players ended up playing, and this really did help the Niners. Once the game got going, the Dallas defense had made up their mind to sell out at the line of scrimmage. 6 people down on the line of scrimmage led to a lot of man-man opportunities for the Niners. Kyle Shanahan took advantage of that, tried to match up their best players, their best route runners against singled up against some of our safeties, and they won those matchups. Dallas defense played pretty decent in the first half, holding the Niners to a pretty low conversion rate. I think they fell for a 4th down as well. Only getting 6 points out of it. Establishing somewhat good of a run game. They had a long drive, capped it off with a rushing touchdown. As we can see here, when we look at the stats of the game, total yardage, obviously the Niners outgained Dallas 496 to 292. And then we see in the rushing to yards department, although Jordan Mason who's currently second leading yardage runner in the NFL, didn't really get much on the ground here. But it was Brock Purdy with his 58 yards that were second behind Isaiah Guerrero on this Niners offense. It catapulted them in the second half. Purdy was picking up a lot of first downs with his feet, and their Ricky Pearsall had a 39-yard jet sweep. There was a lot of moments that added up to the Niners running the ball. And for Dallas, the complete opposite. I mean, this team is last in the league in running the ball. And it showed very clearly on Sunday. I mentioned in the Week 8 picks, in NATOR'S picks, that they need to use their best running backs out the backfield. And this was actually Dalvin Cook's first game as he was a part of this Cowboys practice squad. He had 6 carries for 12 yards and 1 catch for 10. Ezekiel Elliott was averaging 3.4 yards a carry. But the Cowboys straight up abandoned the run in the second half, dropping back to pass more with their quarterback. And it was pretty rough in the second half for them, as other than CeeDee Lamb, no other players on their offense really gave much of a chance to get some points up on the board or hold on to some of these passes that Dak threw during the late course of this game. As we go back to the team stats here, we see in time of possession, the Niners possessed the ball 7 more minutes. This is due to the 2 turnovers committed by the Dallas defense to the Niners 0. We see they both had 2 sacks each allowed, 4 punts. The Cowboys actually surprisingly had fewer penalties than the Niners. So a more clean game on their end, but also when you start the game with the special teams penalty and they got another one later, it just shows like an inability to focus on their behalf. Like maybe like the moment was too big scuffle too. They got into, I heard a lot of noise in the media, and that was their 4th straight loss to San Fran dating back to 2020 since they last beat them. It just goes to show that some of these players on the team were tired of hearing it, and they took it out on the field. And I'm glad they showed some pride. And but like I said, it hurt them in the end. They had costly penalties. Although the Niners committed more, a lot of had a few holdings. They had one offensive pass interference that was initially called on Chris Conley, but going back on the replay, they brought it back on the George Kittle touchdown. but they took advantage of the man-to-man situations that the Cowboys defense was giving them, and it worked out in the second half as the Niners benefited from the aggressive nature of the Cowboys offense on offense. As I mentioned, those 2 interceptions, the Cowboys now have had committed multiple turnovers in, I believe, 3 consecutive games. So that's not a good formula for winning football. They lost by 6 points, but committed 2 costly interceptions that both led to points off turnovers for the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers, like I said, mentioned, they lost Jordan Mason. And defensively, they were just, if you compare the yards after catch in this game, the Niners had a lot more than the Cowboys. So it's just, they started getting a lot late towards the end with CeeDee Lamb getting involved and really showing out, having his best game of the year. But it was tough to overcome. They were getting chunk plays on a lot of the play action passes and man-to-man routes, getting yards after catch, hard for the Dallas Cowboys defenders to bring down these Niners runners. And it showed. And the Niners got more yards after catch off of that. Didn't seem like they had that many yards of offense by the end of the game, but watching the game, you could tell that this team, one team was a little bit more disciplined, and the other team was just not able to pull out the stops at the end. As the Cowboys got the ball back with a chance to go take the win, but had 4 straight incompletions as they couldn't gain a yard and got off the field, and the Niners ran out the clock and ended the game. And going forward for the Niners, they're going into their bye week, and they're tied with I think it's like a 3-team tie at the top of the NFC West, 4-4. And the Cowboys are going into a territory where they need to get a couple of wins soon, because they still have to play 2 of the teams with the winning record in their division, the Commanders and the Eagles. They have a couple of home games coming up against the Texans and the Eagles that they need to take advantage of, play better at home, and they need to figure out how they can minimize the amount of chunk plays that the defense gives up on passes down the field. And stopping the run, of course, is another one that they've struggled with and try to make their emphasis all year. And it's going to take a while. This is my football team. I know you guys know that. You see right here. But it's just going to take some time for this team to gel and really get into winning habits, as there's a lot of off the field noise that's always surrounding this team. And it's just not good in the middle of the season when you actually need to focus on details, fundamentals, and showing that you're not just a pushover NFL franchise. So as for I.G.S. Edition 1, we're going to probably have more of these. Week 8 was close to having probably Edition 2 and 3 as well, as we'll talk about in NATOR'S Game Picks. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, and get you get those videos sent to you as well. As for right now, that's how funny it is that it happens like that. But this is how I felt. This is how I felt. I think this was going to be one of those games, and the Niners. It was like the first team that scored 30 points wins, and we'll see what else more comes down the road. This is NATOR'S picks of identical game score, and we have our first game in the box, y'all. We'll be looking out for more of these videos to come. Peace out.